Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In the previous video we learned about the components, and in this video we are going to learn about the data binding, which is a very important and a basic topic every Angular beginner should learn. So without wasting the time, let's start. So what is data binding? So data binding basically means the communication between your TypeScript code and the template. So TypeScript code is the code that is written in your TypeScript file. Here is your TypeScript code, or we can also call it as your business logic, because the logic of our application is written in TypeScript file. The template is basically your HTML file or your HTML code. This is also called as your UI, that is user interface, because this is the only thing that is visible to the user. User can't see your backend code or your TypeScript code. User can only see the HTML code. So for better understanding, I have created a model for you guys so that you can understand the binding properly. This is your template, or you can also call it as UI. Let's call it as a UI. Let's say I have fetched the data from the server and I want to show that data to the user. That data is belong to the particular user. Okay, so this is my server or my TypeScript code or the business logic. Okay, I have fetched the data and I want to show it to my user. So we have two ways. First one is string interpolation, second is property binding. It is also called as one way binding. And let's say I want to take the data from the user and store it to the database, or I want to process the data. So how will I do that? For that we have event binding. Okay, so event binding we will see in the next video. But in this video we are going to learn about string interpolation and property binding. So let's start. I will tell you guys the syntax of the string interpolation first, and then after we will move on to the property binding. So let's say we have a user and I fetched the data of the user, that is the name of the user, from the server, and I want to show that data to the user. Let's say that data is name and the name is Ajit. Now how will I show that to the user? Let's say we have a heading tag. So the syntax of string interpolation is two curly braces and your variable name, that is name. We have created a name variable, you can see here in the TypeScript code, and I want to show that in my HTML. So this is the syntax, two curly braces. I'll save that and run our project. As I told you, ng serve. Wait for few seconds. So our project is ready to run, and you can see that Abhijit is written here. So this is string interpolation. So you guys might be wondering why we call it as a string interpolation. So basically, whatever is inside in two curly braces, in the end it should return a string. So if I directly write a string, let's say, and I save that, you can see the Chaudhary is written here. Okay. So in the end, the whatever is inside the two curly braces, it should return a string. So that is why we call it as a string interpolation. Let's do it. Now this is easy, and let's move on to the property binding. So basically property binding is binding of a property. Now I will show you how. Let's create an image tag, and we hard coded the src. Okay, let's hard code the src. Let's take any image from the internet. Let's copy the image address and paste it here. Let's see. As you can see, the image is shown here. Now, let's say we are creating any banking app and I want to show the picture of the user. Let's say I'm fetching this whole URL from the server or from the database. So let's cut it and save it, sorry, declare a variable that is URL and paste the URL here. Okay. Now I want to bind this URL to the src of that. Src is the property of image tag. Now I want to bind this src to this variable. So the variable name is URL, sorry, and I will write simply here URL, and you can see the image is shown here. So I hope you guys have understood what is property binding. We have created a variable URL, or let's say I'm fetching this URL from the server as an image URL, and I want to show the image to the user. So I'm binding the property of image tag, that is src, to this URL variable. I'm binding the property of image tag, that is src, to the URL. Let's save this, and it's completely working fine. So this is property binding. I hope you guys have understood everything. If you want any further topic, you can tell me in the comments. That's it from the my side. Thank you.